It's so interesting. I don't know if I told you this, but so the Western diet, I think everybody agrees that we need to abandon it. Just about everybody, right? We know that it's bad. And then there's two pathways you can go. It's like fad diet, or you go with like what registered dietitians are saying. One of the things that I did last year is like I just followed 50 registered dietitians on Instagram just to see what are they eating, what are they doing, what are the experts saying, who are they, what are they recommending. Speaking of 90%, again, it's like 99% of them are all women. All the expert registered dietitians are women. And what are they posting on Instagram? Just all these beautiful colors of fruits and vegetables and all this amazing food that I have no idea how to make. And, I really need to, figure that out. But just this amazing mixture of all these different fruits and vegetables is really incredible. And then the other path is like you got the carnivore, keto, and that pathway seems to be a lot of non-registered dietitians. So not experts. The thing is, like, they're getting healthy and they're fixing a lot of solutions. It helps people short term, I think, a lot of these diets, like the carnivore diet and the keto diet. And it helps some people. And it actually blew up. It got huge. I think one of the main reasons because of the Joe Rogan show. They had back-to-back carnivores on there. One of them is like one of the sickest people that has ever existed. And she just had a hell of a time, recovering from her illnesses. And she promoted the carnivore diet. It helped her, even though she ended up with C. diff. And then he also had a doctor on there, but millions and millions of followers. And I think people saw that. And even I was captivated by that. I was like, oh, man, should I just eat steaks only? That sounds awesome. And I think it really helps people. If you go from a Western diet to just anything else, I think it can help you out. And there's obviously some science there, the keto and the carnivore and all that. And it's helpful short term. I think it can build muscle mass. But it's just kind of interesting that all the experts are over here. You can hashtag them on Instagram, registered dietitian. You can see what they're eating. And then the other side, it's, this other group. You can be seduced by this because it can work. It's just concerning that for long-term longevity, the science says that you need to have a base of dietary fiber. The science, gut microbiome science also says, the number one way to promote gut microbiome diversity is with a wide variety of whole plants. That's the number one way. So you want to promote diversity in your gut microbiome. If you don't have a lot of diversity, that's when things like C. diff can pop up.
Yeah, my guess is these carnivores were eating dairy or gluten that were causing them the digestive problems. And when they cut that out and went to an all-meat diet, that's when they started seeing the benefits. And in some cases, you can actually be sensitive to vegetables and let's say the salicylates inside the vegetables. So there's a small number of population that also might benefit from going to an all-meat diet. My personal opinion is I would not recommend the all-meat diet because the omega-6s that are packed inside meats upregulate arachidonic acid, which upregulate leukotrienes and prostaglandins, which are, again, the inflammatory biomarkers that when you have too much can lead to cancers and heart disease.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, I would not recommend the all-meat diet. But if it works for you, great.
Yeah, well, in our example, she was allergic to lettuce. Lettuce was giving her problems, and spinach. Everything. She was allergic to everything. Peterson was her name. Just terrible, terrible stories. And she was like 9 years old.
Yeah. And again, I don't believe in these fad diets because every diet should be tailored and customized towards your specific body. There's no one diet fits all. If you need help testing for your food sensitivities, again, reach out to me because I have a special lab that can do that for you. All these tests that you see on TV only test the IgG antibody, and they're not testing IgE or any of the other inflammatory chemicals that are released inside the body, which my specific test does. So again, a lot of people are misinformed and will get.
And there's a lot of hucksters out there too in that realm. It's like the test that I believe that you're associated with is like one of the ones that works. There's only like one or two. There's not that many food sensitivity tests. But if you see them on the internet, they're all over the place. But those are useless. Same with this gut microbiome tests. Those are pretty much useless too. There's only like one or two. Well, there's a handful that work. But in order to get to understand the data, that's a whole different story. Like when you send in your information to some of these places, like, oh, you're sensitive to this, you need to stop eating this. These genetic tests and everything too. It's like 9 out of 10 of those are just complete garbage. There's no, yeah, it's incredible how much stuff is out there. There's like the one that you're doing, there's one. And I really think there's one test that's good. There's one sensitivity test. I believe that's the one you're associated with. And, very similar to these gut microbiome tests. There's a lot of them out there. And you're like, oh, I'm really into this. I want to check it out. Similar to what I did. I went to an award-winning, data scientist, but they didn't give me any recommendations. They're like, we can't tell you any information about this. That's not what real scientists do. There's like, you would have to do a study for this. This is like really complicated stuff. There's nothing they can recommend after, a few tests. One of the things that I discovered in my test, though, which is kind of interesting because I have psoriasis, over 70% of psoriasis sufferers share a gut microbiome profile where you're more prone to bacterial translocation through gut permeability. So, like one of the solutions is, you got to eat more like fruits and vegetables, dietary fiber, and keep your thing together. If not, you're more prone to this bacteria getting into your system through your gut wall. So like if you have alcohol, or if you take over-the-counter pain medication or gluten, or a number of things, you're even more prone than the average person to have sensitivities in your gut that's going to show up on your skin. And I think that's what happens to me. It's like if I go out and have like the right grain alcohol or scotch for a few nights in a row, if I'm on vacation or something, yeah, hello, my skin's back. It happens pretty quick. So that's kind of what I uncovered looking at, like, I share a gut microbiome profile with psoriasis sufferers. It's pretty interesting. And so that was pretty wild.